all the recruits. Now, what's interesting here? So what first thing is we'll get into the current players. I saw a tweet from Derek Wingo and Princely, both kind of in the same camp of like, dang, like what happened? I went back to just a minute before the show started to pull those tweets. They were nowhere to be found, which was very
deleted them.
Yeah, which was very interesting because Princely, who's been known to kind of get himself into a few tiffles on Twitter, just kind of going back and forth with fans and stuff, which I love, he typically leaves it. And I found it very interesting that both of these guys deleted their tweets. I don't know what happened.
So I saw both of them.
You did see them.
You got to think, too. Think about both of those guys. Like, you went through Todd Grantham.
Sure. No, I get it. I'm not mad at them. I think they were in the right for what they said. I wasn't criticizing them. I just I thought they were okay for tweeting that. Princely said, man, I have to learn a whole new playbook. I don't think it's going to be that much difference, to be honest with you. You got a kind of the same guy. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be that crazy. But again, I think it did have a little frustration. It's like, golly, like it doesn't stop.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can understand like a player's frustration and having to switch coaches each year because that does get frustrating. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I don't think it's not the fact that they're not excited for him to come there and learn whatever he wants to implement or anything like that. As I said, like a coach's dream is to go to the NFL. Or in this case, we'll discuss, Kareem Reed going to the high school ranks once again. But I mean, every coach's dream usually is to go to the NFL. So it is understandable, I guess, from a standpoint as a student or a regular person that like, okay, well, he's just going to try to live his dream in the NFL because that's where a lot of these coaches want to go. That's where all the money's at. That's where the accolades of being the best in the world are at. And it's less stressful. You don't have to fly out and recruit.
You
don't have to do any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, like you're working more as somebody in college than you are in the NFL. Of course, I'm not saying that people in the NFL don't work at all, but I mean, you're not having to fly everywhere. You're not having to do this. All you're having to do is worry about salary caps and coaching your players. That's it.
Sure. So here's some thoughts on, again, Piegler leaving the tight end coach. We've had a lot of tight ends that we've been looking at. Number 6 ranked tight end Caleb Odom says, yeah, it's crazy. I actually saw it on Instagram. Happy for Coach, though. It's obviously going to affect my recruitment just a little bit, but I'm still looking forward to building with Coach Napier. That's an interesting take. Now, again, I think most of these guys, and it should impact them a little bit. It's a little bit of a change, but how much of it is going to impact? I don't know. We'll see. Number 13 ranked tight end Kylan Fox. Oh, dang, I didn't even know that. Well, that definitely does affect everything now. I have to reevaluate. So we'll see. Says he does have a trip lined up for the spring. But he said I generally said I will be back. So hopefully he comes back and nothing. We kind of just keep the ball moving. Amir Jackson, who I made a video about comparing him to Kyle Trask, says, "Wait, huh? When? Wow, that's actually awesome, man. It doesn't affect anything. I'll still keep in contact. Good to hear on that." Number 28th ranked tight end Reiner Swanson says, OMG, I'm so happy for him. That's incredible. Yeah, I'm very excited for Coach Piegler, and he deserves it 100%. The new tight end coach is a guy half as kind as Piegler. I would be super happy to come to Gainesville. So, and again, I think Piegler kind of started off a little slow last year, but he made a few strides in recruiting this year. And so, obviously, having these guys saying great things about him is something to be said, but it is interesting to see kind of these kids react. And again, with social media nowadays, it is fun to hear them and how it is going to impact them. And again, going from coach to coach can be a little exhausting, especially learning new schemes and how that process is, and you're building a relationship. And again, like I just said, learning a new playbook is different, but it's believing in the guy that you're going to go bleed on the field for. And if that's constantly changing, that's hard to really find, build a culture that way. Now, this isn't a knock on anybody. It's bound to happen. Look, the one positive I will say is that it is a not a lateral move in my opinion. Even though he's going down, it's going to the NFL, so it's a progressive move. So it's like, look, I mean, opportunity knocked. I've got to rock and roll. So I think it'll be fine. I think it'll blow over pretty quickly. Look, I'm fired up to see what Armstrong's able to do when he comes in here. I'm ready to see what he implements and how these guys respond. We'll see kind of if we have any attrition. Again, I don't think we will. I don't think it's going to be that much of a difference. I honestly think with his age being 29, he's only 20 years older than these guys, just kind of is what we can kind of tell already, his charisma, just from the few interviews that I've watched. Again, I'm overreaching here, I know, but I think I'm excited to see what he's able to do and the relationships he's able to build. And again, Patrick Toney's he's 32, but you can just look at him and tell he's like an old 32. You know what I'm saying? Like he's 32 going on 45. Like let's be honest, okay? And that's not a knock. That's just facts. Yeah. You guys know who you are, okay? It's okay. You know what I mean? Like I'm 29. Yeah, no, and I'm 29. I'm 29 going on 27. Okay, I'm still like I'm like a 14-year-old. Okay, that's where I get the vibes from. Armstrong. He's like 29 going on like a good old country boy 26, and like I fuck with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and another thing to add is too, it's good that it happened in February and not like towards almost National Signing Day when you've already got kids committed that are most defensive kids. I mean, like the linebacker's different. I mean, that's a Jay Bateman relationship kind of thing. But like, you know, it's good you didn't have a lot of defensive players committed already before, you know, like National Signing Day. So you really
plenty of time to flip it.
A relationship. Yeah, exactly.
For sure. Now, it almost happened perfectly. It happened right after 2023 signing day, so nobody can bail out. And it happened.
Yeah, there you go.
It happened earlier enough to where 2024 necessarily can't be affected just